November 11th. So
11/11 Remembrance Day.
11/11, yes. Today is 11/11. I just noticed that. So guys, oh, I should not be recording this. But anyway, we have a winner for the photo contest. Surprisingly, the winner is evidently a photographer, but not one of the folks that I was expecting. It's actually, so this is the winner photo. So everybody choose this one. Was a photo that wasn't common. It was very easy. That was a common, everybody, everybody looking at the
Like that
pictures
one, yeah.
selected that one. So easy. And the photographer was Elisa. So and the prize is gonna be, Google, they put together some photo albums, they do some selection, they collect photos depending on the events or month or whatever. And I had these for example, my Christmas, COVID Christmas, me, myself, and I, and the dogs. So I have, fall of 2020 with my dogs. So that's what I'm getting. That's what I did actually. I already ordered this. It's a photo album, very, nice. And what I did with this album, I put the other pictures that I just selected, because evidently there's so many nice pictures. So they selected more than one. And so these were the photos that they picked. So this was a photo that I took from the city. This was us visiting a Chico's a Spiritist Center, the horse, Mia, just relaxing, the dog, Mia, the dog. And evidently the bed, right? So as a matter of fact, there should be an, oh yeah, this is a photo from the house, the way that they represented the house when where Chico lives when he was a young boy. Swimming pool in the house that we were. This is Belo Horizonte. I did not know who took this picture, but it was interesting one. And this one, do not know why they picked this one, because of Sonia, perhaps. But so I put these pictures and other pictures as well in this album, and then that's gonna be November 11th, so I should be recording from this point and on. And as usual, we start with our prayer. So just take a moment to close our eyes, relax our bodies, and invite our guides. They are already here, by the way, but invite them to join us in the study today, helping us to understand these questions and answers, us to understand the message and the teachings from the spirits. So, dear mentors of each one of us, may our study today and always be filled with peace, growth, and love. May your blessings shower upon the whole world and grant upon each one of us bright, healthy, charitable, and peaceful days to come. Dear Master Jesus, please make our journey a happy one, not by shielding us from sorrow and pain, but by strengthening us to bear it if it comes. Shine your light in us, through us, over us. Protect us, each member of this group. our family members and friends from any undesirable influence. We ask for your guide and protection for our lives and the life of our family members and friends. Set your way before us, dear Jesus. May we make a different world for your glory and purpose. And so be it.
And so it is.
And so the agenda, I wanted to talk about this because we will start with a discussion for the Missionary of the Light. So that's the next book from André Luiz. And the following one is already the Thanksgiving Day, so no meeting, right? So it's not the day, but you know, the weekend. So no meeting on the 25th. As a matter of fact, I'll be joining my boys in Dallas. And the following one, December the 2nd, we'll be back to the Spirits book. And the following Saturday, then we will alternate with the Missionary of the Light. And it's possible that December the 16th, we still need to be discussing the book. Or if we have finished with the book, then we'll be back to Spirit's book. But the most important thing is we'll stop for December the 24th, evidently. So we'll be on vacation until January the 13th. We'll be traveling with the kids. So we'll be back on January the 20th. Okay? Carol is taking notes. I'll stop for a minute. I know, I am at that point as well. I will never remember.
And the notifications will be in Wendy's report, right?
Yes, that's a good reminder. I will need.
So we don't need to write it down because it will be in Wendy's report when there's not a meeting.
Yes.
Yeah, but I have to look ahead
Oh, okay.
because I have so much stuff going on.
I had
Oh,
a quick,
shiz.
I had a quick question
Hi.
for Luis. I had a quick question for Luis. He gave us that video, a tease of the music of the meeting, but we never heard anything more from Luis if he was going to complete the video with the music and everything for the group. When we had
yes, I'm gonna talk to Luis about that too, right? I
know
need
Luis
to
is
finish
very.
that.
I
heard
know
it was
Luis
from the
is very.
Jerry Boys. It was from the Jerry Boys.
Yeah. No.
I'm
What's the
teasing. You had that
yes,
video.
I remember.
You had that video, you know, when you were going to finish it. Was it?
Yes, okay. I will send it to through the group to you.
Okay.
Actually, I've finished, but I think the credit roll is I hadn't finished it yet, but I'm gonna send it to you. I think it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was. You had all the music and everything. It was really good. So you did finish it. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I was trying to say that I know how busy Luis was. I asked Enrique to do some work with the pictures that we had in the Google Drive and make a video. So he said, "Oh, Daddy, this is so we heard back from him." And to be honest, I forgot about it as well.
By the way, speaking of that, you could, if you still have the video of my lecture at the Thiago Maior, Henrique has the audio.
Yeah.
Gonna connect the audio video, Henrique's audio.
Okay, then I will need to talk to Henrique because I only have the image.
Just the image. No, send me the image because I have the audio already.
Okay. Sounds good. So, and for today, before we start, I'd like to talk about this short video. Unfortunately, it's just in Portuguese. What I'm gonna try to do, I will try to translate to you guys as the commercial plays, and I hope you guys can hear me okay. I hope I can cope with the audio. But this advertisement was broadcasted in the beginning of the 2000s, and the author was Washington Oliveto. He's a very known guy for marketing and this kind of stuff. And it was a very interesting one, so I thought about bringing this to you all as well. So let's see if I can translate to you at the same time the guy will speak. This ad, there is no girl with a bikini, no dog, no children, no little baby. This ad has no couple, no kiss, no sunset. There is no family enjoying breakfast. This ad has no famous music, no special effect. There's no turtle playing football. This ad has no famous people, because this ad is to sell a product that no one needs to be convinced to purchase. This ad is to sell a product that you love consuming, using. And by the way, you already have bought, but it was never delivered. This product has no brand, no slogan, no wrapping, no sale promotion. This ad is all white because this way it can be understood everywhere in the globe. By the way, it would be very nice if this ad could be broadcasted everywhere, because the product that this ad wants to sell is the peace. While the folks that needs to purchase the peace don't do it, do this. Take the inventory of peace that you still have at home and use it. Use it in the traffic, use it in the bank queue, use it in an elevator, in the stadiums, everywhere. Peace is a very interesting product because the more you use it, the more you have it. And if everybody uses, who knows if there will be one day no one needs to produce an ad to sell the peace. So I hope you guys understood. But I
We
tried
could
to
do that now.
But anyway, it was a very famous advertisement back in 2000s, and I think it's so up to date, you know.
We could do with his product now.
Exactly. Yeah, and while the piece is still not with us today, so I just got this from my mom, and I thought it was so nice pictures. She sent me this saying, when nothing else makes sense because we still do not have peace, remember, this is not home. It is only a step of the way. Keep on moving. So it is very nice to remember. So we're still talking about law of liberty, and natural rights and justice is the topic. So we stopped by the time we were discussing about this question over here. So if the justice and if law of justice is a natural right, so what is the basis of justice according to natural law? And the answer, Christ told you, do unto others as you would have others do unto you. God could not give us a safer guide than our conscience. And there is a comment, universally, human beings have always sought to enforce their personal rights, while the unique factors of Christianity is the application of personal rights as the basis of our neighbors' right. So the next question to us is, as we live in society, is there any obligation for us to follow? Any comments on?
Well, we live in a society. We're not living in alone in a desert.
Mm-hmm.
So that we should think of others.
Always. Yeah,
Try to set the example.
that's a good, yeah.
Try to set the example for others.
My mother used to say, those who know better must do better.
That's
Yes.
right.
And has a huge responsibility as well to do better. Yeah. Any other comment? Liz, you're speaking, but the phone, you're mute. Okay. All right. So the answer is yes. So is there any obligation for us to follow? Yes. And the first of these is to respect the rights of others, as those who respect those rights will always be fair. In your world, where so many neglect to practice the law of justice, people turn to retaliation, and this causes trouble and confusion in your society. Social life gives us rights and imposes corresponding duties. That's the answer to the question A77 in the book, the Spirit's book. Any comment on the answer?
I say again, we need that today.
Isn't that amazing?
It's coming. It's coming.
Retaliation. I mean, whoops.
Speaking about peace, huh?
Justice will be done. Justice will be done.
Yeah, yeah. It was exactly the reading for our irradiation group here in the Spirit Center. It was exactly that, that the peace actually it starts with each one of us. So if we do not have inner peace, it's not gonna, retaliation will be the first answer still. Next question. Given our imperfection, well, no. Given our imperfection and lack of understanding about the law of justice, how can we understand where the limits, boundaries of our rights are? Any thought?
We lack understanding about the law of justice.
It's interrelated with the laws of forgiveness too. You can forgive and forgive.
Yeah.
Then there reaches a limitation. Then there are limitations where justice must be dealt.
Quite what Len says. There are no limits to the boundaries of our understanding.
Yeah.
But if we do not understand,
but how can we understand where those limits are? So we said our right will end when or where the right of others begin. How can we understand that? One thing we know for sure, if I feel the pain, perhaps one day I will understand it will be painful for others too. Right? That's how, unfortunately, we're still at this stage, right? We just understand when we feel it under our skin.
This is interrelated with the concept, as you know, of forgiveness, which is one of the biggest lessons we have to learn. But you know, in my opinion, there are limits
Mhm.
to the level of forgiveness. And that's related to justice too.
What you said, Lynn, reminded me one day my mom, I was mad because of whatever, and she said to me, evidently I was young, she said to me, forgive, because forgiveness is divine. And I said, yes, and I'm not divine yet, I'm not perfect, I'm not it's divine, it's not for me.
Well, the
Well,
spirit world-
Anna, Shimon, it's to err is human. To forgive is divine.
right.
That's
The
the
thing
saying.
is,
That's a very good way to put it.
But
Exactly.
you know,
but
it's hard. We talked about this previously. I mean, the level of forgiveness, it's a very difficult lesson.
it's
Forgiveness.
very, very hard.
Very hard. I'll give you, you know me, I speak from the heart. It is what it is. I have a son who's gone through a horrible divorce. A lot of money was involved and was horrible, nasty divorce. And I see the effect on my son. And I see the effect on my two grandsons who are 13. Luca, who's the light in Italian, that means, and Tristan, who's 8. And it's hard to, when you see the effect on your son and your grandsons, and then you got to practice forgiveness. It's to the woman he was married to, her. It's a very difficult road. And I spend as much time as I can. I drop everything, whatever it is. If he texts me, Dad, I need to talk. I drop everything. As you with your two sons, Anna. You know what I mean? But I have 4 sons, but this one son needs me.
Mhm.
And it's like we talk. I felt like I went through the divorce for a year and a half. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
But the level of forgiveness, I look at my grandsons who are beautiful, and the effect on them and on my son, it's a hard pill to swallow. And I just came back, and I do the best I can. And this woman he was married to, we were at the soccer game. She comes up to me. She always liked me. She said hello to me. You know what it was like to say hello and to like act? You can't act like nothing never happened. That's not going to exist. But it's extraordinarily difficult, in my opinion, of all the lessons we learn. Forgiveness is the big one.
Mhm.
Forget
Yes.
forget is another issue. Forget.
No,
Never.
Yes.
you don't forget. There's no
Never
reason for
forget.
you to forget. There's
But
no reason.
forgiveness,
But
that's a hard one. That's when I look into the eyes of my grandsons and the effect, and of my son. Anyway,
Len, what I have learned is you've got to let it go.
it frees
And
you.
what I
It frees you.
and-
Forgiveness frees you.
yes, exactly, because otherwise I am damaging myself when I keep that in my heart.
Right. It frees
Yes.
And
you.
so I
Forgiveness
said,
frees you.
please, Lord, help me to forgive. Help me because it's hard.
It's
And
very
so,
hard.
and this is it, but you have to let it go.
Oh, I do.
Yeah.
I do. Because it frees you, basically. And
Yes.
but it's a hard one. That I think of gratitude. You know, we think of the different forms of love, compassion, etc. But forgiveness is a big one. That's one. It is a rough road, very difficult.
Yeah.
Until 70 times 7, Len. Not until 7 times, till 70 times 7.
Right.
Yeah, that's right.
Very hard.
But you know what it's like, Hyacinth, when you look into the eyes of your grandsons and your son, and you see the effect, what that does to you.
I see the effect on my daughter with her father.
You know, it's. So I did my best at the soccer game. My son said, Dad, how are you going to be? You're going to be civil? I said, I'll be charming. But let me tell you, it's a hard one. Because you know what? Because you have such great love for your son for your daughter, Hyacinth, for your grandsons. And that makes it even more difficult, the great love.
Mhm.
Yes.
Am I making sense here?
Thank you for sharing, Lynn. Any other comment, folks?
I don't want to be a downer on everybody. Cheer up, you know. I don't want to be a, but I felt I should mention this
Mm-hmm.
from the
Well,
heart.
it is, but at the end of the day, it's like what Hyacinth said, you know, if we do not let go, it's cause harm to us, you
It
know.
damages us, yes.
Right. It does.
So if no other comments, so the answer to the question, so how can we understand where the limits are? By matching them to the limits of the rights that you recognize for others undergoing similar circumstances and vice versa. Does it make sense to you all? Still thinking? Yes, no? Everybody's so quiet
But
today.
you have to, I mean, it's looking again at the other person.
Mhm.
Limits of rights that I recognize for others undergoing similar circumstances.
Yeah, like we said, you know, in a few minutes ago, until we do not feel it under our own skin, it's like we cannot see it. Our sight or our understanding is so limited that we need the other as the reference, right? To understand the consequences. So the following one is, but what about subordination beneath superiors? Would this not result in complete anarchy of all power?
Well,
Like when we have
support.
like, go ahead, Hyacinth.
No, I'm not saying, look, I'm trying to understand it. Subordination beneath superiors. Well, that's something I refuse to accept.
You know, this I want to say Thursday night, I watched a very interesting story about this guy I never heard of, but apparently is very known in Europe. That's Saint Martin.
Who is that?
And Saint Martin
Oh, yes, yes, yes. That's his day now. It was his day yesterday.
was yesterday, exactly. So Saint Martin, he wanted to be a man of faith, but his father obligated him to join the army. He didn't want to, but he was obligated, and he did. So he served. I guess it was something that all sons, they have to do by law. They have to join the army. So he did, and after 20 years or so, then he said that he would no longer fight for the king. And he said that himself, that he will no longer bear arms to fight. So, but what about he did as a soldier, even though he didn't want to?
He worked for the poor.
Yeah.
And we have in our church a stained glass window with him, with his sword, cutting his coat in half
Mm-hmm.
to give a half to somebody without a coat.
And by doing so, he said that he didn't divide his clothes into, actually he multiplied, or he, because from he had one and now, and after doing that he had two. So it was very interesting thing. Debbie, please.
I guess my first question reading that is, how is it determined who is our superior?
That's a very nice point. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, okay, if I make a contract that, okay, like work, all right, I'll listen to you and you pay me, then I will be subordinate. That's how I've always felt about work.
Yes. Yes. Hierarchy
But there are some things, but even like in work, there would be so many people that would try to pretend like they were a superior and they weren't. So I was always trying to not follow them.
Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's what I was telling the folks in my company a couple weeks ago, that companies, they point their leaders based on certain criteria and not recognizing the natural leaders. And the natural leaders, they are leaders because of a moral authority, right? So, but most of the time, the leaders that we have, they are pointed as leaders because of their ego. Unfortunately. Len.
Oh, leaders, whether it be in industries, government, it's all politics. It's all who you know. It's all, did you have a relationship with this one, that one? It's not
Yeah.
based on the competency most of the time. Look at in government, the incompetency in governments. I mean, it's ridiculous, but it's based on all politics. And if you're friends with this one or that one, not based on qualities of the individual, that's a very common, sadly, that's a very common selective process.
Yep. Agree. So the question, what about subordination beneath superiors? Does not result in complete anarchy of all power? And the answer is the answer to question 878A, that says natural rights are the same for everyone, from the smallest to the greatest. God has not sculpted some human beings from a better quality clay than others, and all are equals in God's eyes. These rights are eternal, while societal rights die with its institutions. Isn't that interesting? Furthermore, distinctly know their strength or weakness, and will always be conscious of feeling a sort of difference to those individuals whose wisdom or virtue deserve respect. This is so important, so that those who think that they are superior know what duties give them a right to be admired. There will be no defiance when authority is only granted to superior wisdom.
That I can accept. Because you need to be wise.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was telling my boss the other day. that the leaders should be appointed because they are wise, not because of, because they have the moral authority to be. Anyway, Luis, please.
Yes, it's me.
Oh, Livia.
I reminded that Kardec says about the authority, the real authority in the book, Posthum
Works, I think.
Yes, Posthum Words. In this book, he talks about the real authority that in the beginning of the evolution of humanity, it was paternal authority about the man, and then about the money, and then about the stronger, and then he says that in the future it will be about wisdom and virtue, not only knowledge, because knowledge don't suppose virtue from itself, but wisdom and virtue. Yeah, it's very, I think he says, and people will recognize the authority, as the question says, not about imposing the authority.
Yes,
Yeah,
nowadays a person can be a loving person, but has no authority.
Yeah.
Yes, for example, Chico Xavier, would he have been so recognized if he were not a phenomenon? If he was just a person that loved, forgave people, right, unconditionally? No, I think he was so recognized because he was a phenomenon, even an intelligence phenomenon. So that's why he was so praised, so recognized. But I've met in my life people who were very loving, forgiving, and nobody knows them.
But the interesting thing, Luis, is even though Chico was the way that he was, he never meant to be. He didn't want to be seen as a leader,
Yeah,
or as someone with that.
Yeah, he was a loving person.
He didn't
Plus
want to
a
be seen as a
phenomenon, right?
ruler,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Just like Jesus Christ had to do the miracles to call attention, pedagogically speaking, right? But of course, he sometimes got tired of that. He said, oh my God, all the time you want signs, you want miracles, you want to convince yourself that what I came to do is.
Yes.
It's not a. Go ahead.
If
But-
we recognize the authority by the force of someone, or the
intellect,
the
right?
intellect only, it's because we are not very evolved.
Evolved,
evolved.
No.
It's like animal. The stronger is the authority, is the,
Yeah.
Go by
the
instinct,
best,
yes.
who has the more fellows and
more intelligent.
more intelligent.
But
So no, in the
corrupt.
future, when we recognize more virtue and wisdom, maybe we will recognize more this kind of authority. Yeah. So now we don't prefer that.
The ones,
Mm.
natural leaders, the real leaders, they truly understand the weight of being a leader. And as they do so, sometimes they just don't want it. I just recall something that Jesus said when in the wedding. He said he replied back to his mother when his mother Mary asked him to do whatever because of the wine. So he said, "It's not my time yet."
Yeah.
Saying, he would step in for the moment he was needed, but he didn't want to be in that position all the time.
Well, I think it's because he said you remember that he hasn't begun his mission.
Exactly.
And
but
so he
you
says,
see, yeah, but the thing is, Hyacinth, the folks, the vain folks, the folks that Len was talking about, the politics.
And you see, for example, for many Christians, sometimes they talk and they say, Jesus Christ lived his life, most of part of it, running away from his foes.
Yeah.
Right? But Christians sometimes nowadays, they face any kind of difficulty bravely and unwisely. right?
Mhm.
No, but Jesus Christ was always running away. Oh, yes, escaping here. Even when he was born, he had to. But
Yeah.
at the moment, said, now it's my time,
It's my time.
to
But
surrender to them. Okay, so this is wisdom.
I don't understand that reasoning, because he was a baby and Herod wanted to kill him,
Yeah,
and the
Yes.
angel told his father, take him
Yeah.
away.
but the angel
So-
was not, proud.
But he wasn't
prideful.
running.
No, Jesus won't run away from anyone because he is the king and he is
Mhm.
going to be the best in here to
Yes.
serve. No, he was running away from the people because he was wise.
Yeah, there was some
Uh,
passage that he goes through the people and people don't find
Yeah, when he
him.
was in Nazareth, right? And he started saying that no prophet is respected in his own land, and people went to kill him, and he ran away all the time, right?
Yes, he said, my
No,
kingdom
well, I
is not
don't
in
say
this
that he
world.
was just, he needed to recuperate and to get back his energy, and people they can
Exactly.
claim their
Yeah.
energy.
Yeah.
He was
But I
humble,
mean,
right?
but
The
I
humblest
yes,
of the
but
people.
I like to say, and I say to my priest leaders, that Jesus could bilocate.
Yeah, yes.
Yes.
Yes. I think this is very possible.
Yes.
Yes.
How did you get here without a boat?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Chico Xavier bilocated here in Belo Horizonte was famous.
Mhm.
He was
Yes.
surrounded by 100 people psychographing, but there was some kind of confusing thing in the crowd. And the policeman arrived, the captain of the police, Minas Gerais here, arrived and said, and then everybody said, oh, thank God you arrived here because it's some confusion. Who called you? Chico himself. He went to my office. No, it's impossible. Chico's been here all the time, right? Surrounded by 100 people, psychographing. No, he went to my office at the police station and he called me, right? Yeah, so that's it.
Mhm.
Len is one speak
Len.
for an hour.
A few quick things. Luis, you said about there's a lot of loving people, a lot of forgiving people, and nobody knows them. The other side knows them.
Of course.
That's where it counts.
Mhm.
99% of our existence is on the other side.
Yep.
The spirit world, the other side knows them. So when they
Yep.
go to their council of elders, when they have their life review with their spirit guides, they know every little detail about our existence here. So they do know. The second point is great leaders are great listeners.
Yep.
That's why we're given 2 ears and 1 mouth. Simple
Come
as that.
again?
That's why we're given 2 ears and 1 mouth, because great leaders are great listeners. As simple as that. And then what was the other thing I was going to say? Bilocation. It's a lot of literature on this. On the other side, bilocation for souls is very common. You're in 2 places at the same time. You divide your energy. However, the higher entities on the other side, the ascending masters, etc., many others, they have almost unlimited biolocation qualities. They can divide their energies up in many different locations. So bilocation is a lot of literature on this. Bilocation is a very, very common thing on the other side. That's it. I'm done.
Mhm.
yes,
So what
because
about
you move
others?
because you move with the speed of thought. If you think it happens.
Right.
It happens, exactly.
Court rules on the other side, and you know how to divide your energy. Felicia does that all the time. She wants to visit somebody, and she's with me. We do that. She does it all the time. I said, okay, we're good.
Thank you, Lynn. What Heise said, I think is there is a point there, when you think, as you think, it happens. And so I'm nobody really. I'm not Chico. I'm literally nobody. And it did happen to me once. I was in Korea. I think I already mentioned this. I was in Korea. It was so cold. It was winter time, minus 20 degrees C outside. And I remember I was in the office and I was tired. I just, closed my eyes and I just wanted to be back in the street I used to live in Manchester in UK. because of a certain tree that I love that tree. And I wanted to be there in front of the tree and looking at the tree and not in that really cold day in South Korea. Well, later that day, I got a note from a friend of mine who was living very close by. She was still there in Manchester City. So she said, Anna, are you here? Are you back to UK? I said, no, why? I saw you. I was taking the kids back from the school and I saw you in front of the tree.
Anna,
It happened the other day with when not the other day, but many years ago, my first kid, he was born, and it was time for me to go back home, to go back to the office, to go back to work. So I did, but I was still so concerned about my boy. And I left the house, and for some reason, I was so concerned about him. I spent the whole day, you know, just thinking about my little kid. And at that night, I had a meeting with a friend. So I came back to home, saw my kid, he was okay. And then I left to my friend's house. And as soon as I got there, in my mind, it was like, oh my goodness, I spent the whole day, you know, away from my son. It's been the first time that I'm away from my son. I was just thinking about him all the time. And for a moment, I closed my eyes. I was just thinking about him. And all of a sudden, I saw myself in front of the washing machine. Don't ask me why. I just wanted to, I said, why? What am I doing in front of the washing machine? I don't want to be here. I want to see my son. And I really tried to go from there to my son's bedroom. It didn't happen. So then my friend was talking to me, and it just got distracted. But by the time I got the lady taking care of my boy, I was looking for her. I didn't see her, but all the lights in the apartment, they were on, all the lights on. And as soon as the lady saw me, she was like in shock. And I said, what happened? What is him okay? Oh yeah, he's fine, he's sleeping. Something happened to you. And I said, why? Because I saw you in front of the washing machine and I thought you had an accident and you die out of
it. This is related to OBEs, out-of-body experiences. The vast field of out-of-body experiences, lots of literature on that. Here's a question where basically you're out of your body. OBE is a big field in the afterlife, and you're looking at your body. I did that in 2019. I had several experiences on OBEs. A lot of, you know, William Buhlman, there's many famous OBE guys, all right?
But the OBE, you have to be unconscious or something. I was not unconscious.
No, I was totally conscious.
I was talking to...
But I stopped doing OBEs in September 2019 because I didn't want to distract me from my focus of my communication with Felicia. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why I stopped doing OBEs. I got sick 2 years ago, very bad COVID pneumonia. The pain was so bad, I got out of my body and I was looking at my body. This was several days, so I would be able to withstand the pain, the muscular ache. It was so bad. But OBEs is a very, very common phenomenon. You just got to know how to meditate and do it. That's a huge field, OBEs.
Mm-hmm.
Which, you know, so that's another issue here.
Yep.
So you could have had OBEs. You could be. Do you ever meditate? All right? How many of you experience out-of-body experiences? Okay, Luis, do you want to talk about them?
No, you said everything I was going to say, right?
Oh,
Yeah, and
Yeah,
because
we're
once,
eternal
yes,
brothers. We're eternal brothers. That's why.
yeah, that's it. Once you have OBEs or lucid, even lucid dreams, you're prone to have this kind of experiences. I've seen some when I used to have this OBE. So I was from my 21 to 24 years old. I remember a student of mine saw me on an avenue in Belo Horizonte, but it was 3 o'clock a.m. Right, and he was very. We said, "What were you doing walking?" And I was really, spiritually speaking, walking on that avenue at that moment, right? So it's very funny, this kind of thing, because according to the spirits, there is a kind of glue that connects the spiritual body to the physical body. This glue is what we call in Portuguese
Well,
is
energy cord, there's an energy cord
the
too.
double etheric, right?
Double
It's the
attack.
glue, right, that connects. When we get out of the body very consciously, this glue is very strongly materialized yet. So that's why many times when I left my body, I didn't see many spirits or just few spirits, and I had to be careful about them, of them, because sometimes they were very physical spirits and need to be careful. And then this is it. I think it's something that's related to this. And it's another point that made the Catholic Church make some mistakes about some quote unquote saints, that they had this capacity, but morally speaking, they were not saints at all. Right?
Oh, that's a good
So
point.
that's
Yeah,
why the
Luis, yeah.
spirits, like Emmanuel said, well, Catholic Church made some mistakes or several mistakes because the guys were capable of making phenomenon happen, but they were not high spirits in terms of moral.
Moral, yeah, yeah, very nice. Nancy, you had your hand up. You want to?
Yeah, I was just recollecting doing, I guess, astral travel when my dad crossed. It was very powerful experience. There was some they lived across the street from me, and there was some, for me, traumatic things going on. I have 7 siblings, and anyway, so I had to go home, and then I didn't intentionally do this, but that's where I went. In being with my father when he crossed, it was very beautiful and powerful, and yeah, phenomenal. I love that stuff, so just wanted to share.
Yeah, thank you for sharing. That's very powerful, and like me, it seems like yeah, we have no intention. We do not know how to do. I wish there was a training or something, but you know.
Yeah, it was kind of like, well, I did a lot of work with my father with healing stuff, and we would go and do, like in adoration, I would kind of go to that same place of I guess of higher consciousness and connect with him, and it's kind of yeah, so it was kind of like, okay, I think I'm gonna just go there again, and that's what perpetuated out of that, and it was quite profound for me.
Yeah, thank you for sharing.
Debbie brought out a good point in chat that the Monroe Institute in Virginia, that whole institute, Monroe Institute, is pretty much devoted to OBEs. All their courses and everything, William Buhlman, etc. Debbie brought out a good point on that. It's in Virginia. That's how big.
Robert Monroe of Monroe Institute.
Right, the Monroe Institute in Virginia. So that's an excellent point by Debbie. Said there's a whole institute that's basically devoted to OBEs, out of body experience.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, thank you for sharing, Debbie. I didn't know about that. Robert Monroe. I'll take note of that.
I also posted for you a video from Jürgen Zive, right? That he allowed me to post on my channel, Spirit Connections, about, and it's a very good video. He's really a good artist, showing the images that he tried to transcribe to us on his video about his experience outside of his body. Very interesting.
Yeah. Very nice. Thank you for sharing, Louise and Debbie. And let's see, it seems like we still have one more question to go. Oh, no. So final considerations. Since we did finish the law of justice, love, and charity, so the considerations is this is actually a text or a message from Emmanuel. Louise, would you please read it for us since you have a much better voice than me?
Come on, right? No, no way. So let's see, recall the hope so that the charity you do may not be incomplete. Interesting. You will give the hungry ones not only the crust of bread that alleviates his or her hunger, but also the affection of a fraternal word with which his energy will be restored.
That's nice because here
Mhm.
he is connecting justice, charity, and hope.
I'd like to make a comment on this. I remember once in the Spirit Center, a guy that had worked on McDonald's here in Brazil, and he was looking at the work we did with the needy guys, right, in the soup time, and he wanted to mechanize everything. He wanted to to build a machine for soup, right? And as the needy person received the soup, there was a loudspeaker saying, "God bless you, God bless you, God bless you."
Oh
I said, we need to, you know, he was a very active person, a very an entrepreneur, right? And I said, no, that's not the only purpose. It's not only giving food to them, right?
As a
They
matter of
need to
fact, the
hear our
food is
voice. They
just,
need to feel hope. They need to
yeah.
see human beings, right? Worried about. That's it. Next, you will give to your companion, abandoned to the elements, not only the extra clothing from your opulent closet, but you will wrap it in your spontaneous smile so that the recipient can recover and move forward, refreshed and calm. Do not forget the divine patience with which we are tolerated every hour. Well, as it happens to nature, in which the sun, 1,000 times insulted by darkness, responds 1,000 times with the blessing of light, within our lives we highlight God's infinite charity, giving us the opportunity to serve and learn, rescue and sublimate every day. Do not belittle your own brothers, to whom you owe the understanding and kindness from which you receive the highest shares of heaven, in the form of help and mercy in every moment of this experience. Do not curse or spread the poison of criticism on the dark path on which less fortunate friends travel, still unable to free themselves from the shackles of ignorance. Remember that Jesus called us to the earthly path to help and save, where many have already abandoned trust in the eternal good. Wherever you are and whoever you are with, heed the hope for the world to achieve the victory it was destined for. Alleviate with the bitterness is to widen the wound of those who suffer, and giving with reprimands is to wrap the help in repulsive vinegar of discouragement or despair. Like a solar light beam that descends into the cave every morning, restoring the empire of light without complaint or sorrow. Be also for those around you the permanent message of the love that understands everything and forgives everything, supporting and helping without pressing, because only through the strength of love we will reach the imperishable light of life. This is Emmanuel. Chico Xavier.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful
Beautiful,
message.
beautiful.
As a matter of fact, I had
Hard,
to
difficult, and beautiful.
extremely, guys. I had a conversation with my older son, and I had to really read these 5 times, alleviate with bitterness. It's true, because sometimes you talk to those guys, they are so hard-minded,
Youngsters nowadays, and I deal with them, it's not easy because they have no parameter anymore. You need to teach them almost everything, right? So for example, killing is not that good, right? And that maybe not that pleasurable, right? Something like that, because they have no parameter, right? They were brought up without any kind of notion. Some of
the
them, of course,
problem
there are
is
exceptions, or yes, venerable exceptions, but this is something that's happening. That's the way the world is today, right?
frustration is
Millennials.
Millennials, millennials.
millennial frustration. They just, you know, they feel like, for example, for my son, I guess his surprise he was surprised because, you know, well, he did his work, right? So he went to college, he got his degree, and now he's done. So the red carpet should be, you know, right in front of him. So as he, you know, in his jobs, and there will be difficult people, nice people, life will happen, right? So, but it's so, how can you explain? You show something, hey, you see, this is white. Oh, this is white. Yeah, this is how do you explain this is white? It is white. What?
Luis,
Why?
I have a request. Luis, since we're speaking of millennials, at the conference in Brazil, you gave me that link. I watched a video of the interviewing that millennial woman girl. Could you send me that through email? I mean, I've never laughed so hard in my life.
Yes.
Interview of that millennial girl. Could you send me that through email? I'd like to share it with some of my friends. I couldn't find it. I mean, that's hysterical. That says it all about millennials. That says it all.
And there's another video by Simon Sinek, an American entrepreneur, speaking about millennials. Very important for you to understand their situation, to be in their shoes a little bit, but at the same time, calling our attention to these difficult times ahead because of this kind of generation that have no notion.
Their mindset.
Yeah, their mindset. Yes, good.
Yeah. It is hard, folks. It is hard. But, you know, I have good news. If we got that, it's because we can deal with it. Right? And if they were given to us, it's because we have all the knowledge, we have all the information, all the tools to deal with it and to address their issues. And by the way, love is always the answer for everything, right? So, folks, it's 4:07, so let's finish a little earlier today. Next meeting, we'll start with a new law. But the next Saturday is going to be Missionary of the Light. By the way, I have the book here. It's in Portuguese, but I'm studying the book. And there will be a discussion about Missionary of the Light. So, see you all. Nice seeing you.
Bye, guys.
Talking to you.
Thank you.
Have a great
Thanks,
week.
everybody.
Bye.
Good week.
Good to
Yeah,
see
bye.
everybody.
Good to see you.